It's a vibe. DJ Marcus J.
But I definitely want to thank everybody first for putting up with the patience that is required for you still to be here. I want to welcome everybody to the Metaverse Music Conference here. This is our first one ever. I want to welcome you to our groundbreaking music conference that's hosted here in the Metaverse and live streamed across multiple platforms. We're thrilled to bring together passionate attendees and distinguished panelists from around the globe for an immersive and innovative experience. And as we delve into the latest trends and technologies and creative advancements in the music industry, we invite you to engage, connect, and be inspired. This conference is a unique opportunity to explore how the metaverse is transforming music creation, distribution, and consumption. We encourage you to participate in discussions, network with fellow enthusiasts, and also embrace the limitless possibilities that lie ahead. And again, we thank you for joining us and shaping the future of music. With that being stated, it is time to start our first panel discussion here. And of course, there we go. So we have our distinguished panelists. Before we go into that, I'm going to ask that our panelists actually please take only 30 seconds to describe yourself. We're going to call it an elevator pitch. So we're going to start with our first panelist here for the evening. We have Tinker Love.
What? Hey, Marcus, thank you for having me. I am Tinker Love, 1980 CEO of the Zen Royals. We manage artists in the metaverse. We're trying to get their music outside of here. We have them played in all 50 states in the UK. We have the mentorship of DJ Marcus. So we are up and we are going. And I thank you all for having me here tonight.
All right, next to her, we have Jen Smash. And just one quick note, I'm not sure we have anybody up front at the front desk, but can we just make sure that we do have somebody at the front desk? Thank you. All right. So next to her, we have the one and only Jen Smash.
Hey guys, I'm Jen Smash. I am an accountant for celebrities. I run an entrepreneur course teaching people how to start businesses. And I also represent the amputee world. I am a double amputee trying to show other amputees that there is life in the metaverse to reinvent yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. And to the left of her, the one and only Yo Afro.
Hey, yo, it's your girl. It's your girl, Yo Afro, independent artist out in the metaverse doing my thing, bringing people up into the space. Only a fraction of the Block Collective, representing hip hop to the fullest in the golden era, and always ready to give you a whole vibe. Ew.
Thank you for that. And next to her, we have the one and only Peoples PR.
Hi, everyone. I'm Peoples, aka the Meta Publicist in real life, influencer, and content creator. I work with brands across music, fashion, beauty, and lifestyle. And now I'm bringing my services here into the metaverse to help everyone here get ready. So you can follow me on Instagram at the Meta Publicist. And thank you so much, DJ Marcus, for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for being a part of this. And to the left of her, we have the one and only Mystic Spirit MG.
Hello, I'm Mystic Spirit of Mystic Spirit Music Group. I run a record label with my independent artist, who's also my daughter, so I guess you consider me a momager. We work with artists and bands, mostly in the emo and punk genre.
All right, I like that. And on the end, last but not least, I should say, we have Goddess. Goddess, please introduce yourself.
Hello. My name is Goddess. I am a host in the metaverse. I'm a vibe maker, room shaker. I get the party going. I'm one half of the Turtle Queens, and I am 1/4 of Sisters for Sisters. So I just bring a little light and positivity to the metaverse and keep a smile going and, shot o'clock when it's right. Thank you, DJ Marcus, for having me up here as well.
Oh, no problem. Again, I want to thank all of our
Word up,
panelists.
Marcus.
And thank everybody who's been a part of this. Again, thank you to the audience, anybody, the Mr. Block Party radio staff, security, shout out to Loudfire and everybody. Thank you for everything. So, and thank you to Anadi. Thank you to Anadi as well. So let's not even waste any time here. So the first question that I want to present to everybody is, what digital marketing strategies are effective in promoting artists here in the metaverse? Let's start off with Tink.
Okay, so when you think about digital marketing, everybody is in some kind of web something, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Facebook. Everybody looks at that. I could spend all night watching TikTok videos. So now we're getting to the point where I want the artist to set up a TikTok. It's actually an app called Buffer that can send everything out, all the apps at one time, but keep that content going and keep versions of themselves in real life and what they do, and connect it with what they do here in the metaverse. Because if nobody's going to do anything else, they're going to binge watch videos, especially when they're just in the house doing absolutely nothing. I could stay up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning watching things. So if it's interesting, I'm going to watch it. I realized when I started doing those Zepeto reels, I got a bigger TikTok following over Zepeto reels than real actual things that I put up. People don't pay attention to, they like being entertained. And people have gotten comfortable when the pandemic happened with being at home. So people are entertained more being at home. So people be in their phones so much. People carry chargers with them in the back of charger like crazy. They have to be connected with that digital world. So with that, it's like you give them something to look at. Them kids on TikTok love that Zepeto character. She is a whole character for these people. So I started, realizing the following from that. And I started putting together whole music videos. And it worked. So you have to get into that being able and being consistent with posting and putting yourself out there on a regular and make it entertaining and make it where it grabs something. Every week, Sisters for Sisters have a different type of poster. And it grabs the attention. It's the music, it's the aesthetics, it's everything that you put into it to actually sell it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that. Let me see. Jen Smash, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I do. For me, I see a different perspective. So I go by who is your customer and who you're reaching out to. If you know that information, then you'll know and research which digital platform works for your customer. So I would advise that people to really zone in on who that is, and then do your research to see which platforms they access so that you can get the best outcome. And that's it.
You got to be effective with it. You've got to be effective with it.
Absolutely.
And the one and only Yo Afro.
I would say, just to piggyback off of Tinka and Jen, definitely be consistent in staying open and to working all the different platforms. Don't just stay on one. As far as a marketing asset, your music for the artists out there, get your music playing on every platform, however it can be played, whether it's a music asset or it's word of mouth or it's just in someone's playlist. Make sure that your music is in there. If there's videos playing, get your videos up. So what? If y'all just having like a little kickback, it's okay to get your video playing. Utilize all the tools that's necessary and that's around you. Again, word of mouth is everything. Stay consistent and don't be afraid to open up. That's it.
I like that. Jules here. So let's turn to the publicist next.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. So yes, I would definitely agree with everyone what they said before me, and definitely combine what Jen and Tink said. So as far as the content, definitely making sure you're putting it out there on a consistent basis. And like Jen said, making sure the platforms that you are choosing to put your content out is the correct one for your audience. TikTok is amazing for, aspiring artists who want to get their music out there. And if you don't want to create the content yourself, look for other influencers that can create the content for you. The most viral video on TikTok is because someone else did a dance to it or someone else did some type of skit to it. So if you're not willing to create the content yourself, find people who, you know, are in the same lane as you. Reach out to these people. The worst they can say is no. You know, say, I have this track. I see you do, you know, content. How about you, with your next video, you put this towards it? And that can get you more exposure as well.
All right, I like that. Collabs and such. And Goddess.
Well, definitely, to piggyback off of Pete's, collabing is a great way to get your content out there. Like you said, you know, it's a lot of things that I may not be savvy and somebody else may be a little bit more savvy. Definitely reaching out, engaging with your audience, the audience that you want to put out there, and just staying consistent. Consistency is definitely the key.
I like that. You got to stay active. So really quick, before we go any further, we have Sue the Q in the building. Sue the Q is one of our original panel members, so we're not going to bring her up quite yet. So I'm going to ask her just to give us a couple minutes, but then we're going to actually ask Sue to make her way up here. So we definitely want to make sure. And again, the reason she wasn't up here, she's been in the building earlier, but as we were having some issues with the colliders earlier, so we've worked that out. So thanks again, Sue. I appreciate you and Nick both coming by. All right, so now, panelists. So let me ask you this one, so that we don't piggyback too far off the last question that I just asked here. How can artists collaborate with virtual influencers here and avatars in the metaverse to help their career?
By doing what a lot of artists are doing right now, finding management, finding a crew of people that's going to back what you're doing. You know, when you come into this space, everybody's kind of on the same playing field. I don't care how famous you may be out there, and here you're in a world full of people who may not know who you are or that you ever existed. So now you have a whole brand new audience that you have to have gravitate towards you. So it's like doing it all over again from when you first started IRL. So take that same drive and bring it in here. You're still trying to gain an audience. Some of these people are hearing your music for the first time. Representation of that is everything. So once you come in here and you do that, you don't feel like you're kind of above everybody else in here, because again, these are brand new people to you. So you start learning who people are the same way you did in the real world when you wanted to have somebody listen to your music or play your music on the radio. You have to come in with that same attitude and that same humbleness that you started with. Therefore, people will gravitate towards you more and be like, okay, well, I know such and such. I can help you with this, that, and the other thing. It's all in that exchange on how you present yourself when you come in here. A lot of people come in here with this heart of, hey, this is who I am out there. Great. There's people in your whole state that may know you, but no one knows you in here. So come in that brand new, fresh, humble, I'm meeting a new world attitude, and you'll get a lot of reception from that, and people will be more willing to help you and collaborate with you.
It takes a community. You can't just do it by yourself.
Yeah, right.
Yes, no. Yes. For me, I've seen success in the real world, and that secret is a team, like what Tink is saying. The team, really, if you have the right team, people that are smart in their specialty, will help that artist grow. And I think it's the same concept in here. I think the team that surrounds the artist will help them get to wherever they want to go, especially if they're experts in their fields. So I'm always for the team.
Yeah. And I feel like finding new ways to promote yourself, definitely like in the metaverse, you can be anywhere in the world in a metaverse and promote that. So finding, new ways to engage your audience is a big part too.
Absolutely. Your vibe attracts your tribe straight up.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So, you got to stick to your game plan, and convince the people that you are just meeting that this is the path that you're walking on. This is who you are. This is your brand. This is what or who you represent, so that they can go ahead and accept it and say, hey, either I'm a rock with it or I'm not. And then your team helps you, it supports you and pushes that visual with you, and everybody has a part to play. Everybody gets a chance to actually do what they love to do. And that's the best part. You want to be in something and do something that you love doing. It shouldn't feel like a job, especially up in here. It's way too colorful to be getting stressed out. Like, yo, word up. So it's like, you could have a really good time with the people in your tribe. You know what I'm saying? As long as y'all communicate, everyone's on the same page, and there's, no competition in your tribe. You guys are all doing your own thing. This is what makes the build. This is what makes the foundation. This is what makes things grow. You feel what I'm saying? So, just steady forward, and consistency is key. I'm always going to say that, because that has to stay stuck. Consistency in everything that you do. Not just one thing, but everything that you do, every piece of that formula, your formula needs to be consistent in every platform in order for you to grow and be successful.
And if one get on, we all get on.
Word up.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Say it louder.
And don't be afraid to ask for the help either. There are people out here who want to help. Like,
that's right.
It just, you as yourself, you can't do it by yourself. It's impossible, to do it by yourself. You know what I mean? So humble yourself and just ask for that help, because people out here are definitely willing, for sure.
Right. And you know what else you guys can do too? You guys can go ahead and also start fundraisers. Do something to raise money so that it can invest in your brand and in your team, so y'all can do more for the community and for what it is that you're doing. Learn how to do stuff like that, because it works here in the metaverse and in real life. In the real world. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. This is what helps you move around, fly around, do what you got to do. So here in the metaverse, learn how to raise funds, learn how to give back to the community, so the support could be consistent as well. Because I'm telling you, it's about to get hectic up in here, and we just want to have fun, have a good time. But that help with promo, the help with support, just the help with just having your team there is everything.
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
And help with this damn VR chat. I can't, man. This is driving me crazy.
Again, we got to learn all the platforms here, because we never know. So I tell you what, before we go any further, Sue the Q, because you forgive me, I'm up here. Sue, are you still in the building?
Sue. Hey.
Is Sue in the building?
Yeah, she's over here. She's over there.
Okay, so I tell you what, we're going to ask for a quick swap out. So, Goddess, I definitely thank you for joining this one, but I definitely...
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, she's glitching?
She's glitching out, yeah.
Oh, well, if she's glitching, then I tell you what, Goddess, and let's go ahead and continue. By no means was I trying to kick you off the panel. It's just that Sue was the original, so I just wanted to make sure. All right, and we're going to actually cut this panel slightly short, so we're going to just ask one more question. We're trying to get back on track for time here for tonight. So, again, thank you for bearing with the issues we had earlier. So, I think we're going to go to the last question that we got on the board here. What? And even if she stops glitching, then Sue, come on up here. It may not be a chair, but if you want to answer, feel free. You and Nick as well. So, and I really know this last one is right up Sue's alley. As a matter of fact, Sue, before I ask this question, you and Nick want to do the 30-second elevator pitch really quick?
Yeah,
so people can know about you?
Y'all come on.
I have to stay right here though. I can't move.
We can hear you.
Okay. We can hear you.
Can I get on the stage?
Yeah,
She's glitching out. She's glitching.
Okay.
We are.
So can the bots turn?
Well, do me a favor. Please let her. Yeah, well.
Okay, I'm so sorry, guys. So we are Indie Tours VR. We do tours every Tuesday and Thursday to promote creators throughout the metaverse, get your name out there, push. We also give back to the community. We're also community builders, but we also like to make sure that we highlight all sub-communities within the metaverse. And we do a lot of marketing and promoting. And Nick is specialty in app development and Unity. If you want to tell him about yourself, Nick.
A 30-second elevator pitch if you would like.
Okay.
We can't hear him.
Yeah, he may, his volume may be acting up. So I tell you what, so let me ask this to everybody on the panel here.
That's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, there he is. There he
There
is.
you go.
Oh, can you hear me? I just had to move forward a little bit. Yeah, so I'm a developer. That's my full-time job. I do a lot of XR stuff, app lab type stuff. I work with some other social networks on the platform that are in VR, which I won't mention right now. And yeah, I've just been building with Indie Tours. We're trying to build a great community to highlight creators that aren't getting seen on the main menu, especially in Horizon Worlds.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Nice. I tell you, people up here
Big
doing
shout
stuff.
outs.
I promise you the
Big
stuff happening in the
shout
metaverse. So the last question we have for the panel,
Word.
what are the best practices for virtual event promotion?
Send it out invite.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Projecting what you want
Yeah.
the energy to be in your environment, not just speaking that it's going to be a great time, but actually giving a good time, showing that through your reels, through your video, through your social marketing, going through your network, making sure you're using your network, making sure you're using your mouth work, getting out there just like old time, back in the day when the hip hop, we used to sell CDs in the back of the trunk, when people walk by, you go, hey, word of mouth goes a long way in the metaverse, especially right now. So making sure that you're always projecting what you want back to you is huge. You never know who you're talking to. You never know what opportunities can be open through that one encounter. So always go through it and speak with humbleness and continue to stand on your business and what we do. Indie Tours is non-biased, and we remain to be non-biased. So that way, for the greater good, and it's always remembering to look outside of self when promoting. What do you want to come to, and then have them. That's what you're gonna get. Every tour that we do is, and every theme is things that I would want to do when I get off of work. When I get off of work of corporateness and everyday real life, I want to get in this headset and have a good time. So that's what I project. And if I can bring other people with me and show more people to promote themselves and get them somewhere, I'm going to do that too. If I can also get money in people's pockets and I can do money in my pockets, I'm going to do that too. Whatever for the progression of the brand. And I make sure that's known. The transparency is always going to be there. And I think that's also key too. With my marketing skills, I'm very transparent to exactly what you're going to receive when you come to one of my events or our events. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I tell you what, we can take two more responses from panel members on this, and then unfortunately we do have to move forward because we're trying to catch back up on time here.
I would just say supporting one another. Definitely supporting one another. And that's it. Support goes a long way.
And be consistent. Like, definitely be consistent with whatever you coming into this space with. If you say you're going to come in here and you want to change something, if you want to come in here, you want to do your music, you're going to deal with those bad things. You're going to deal with the negativity because that's life. But go past that and keep going true for what you want to bring here and what you want, like she said, what you want to receive back. If you're going to give out that negativity and just give up with it, you might as well not start at all. But if you're going to come in here with that drive to say, this is what I want to do in my heart, you're going to give it your heart. People are going to give that back. It's going to be reciprocated based on the energy you give out. But it has to be that authentic energy from the start.
Absolutely. And I would say,
well, I tell you what, I hate to cut everybody off. I was going to say we unfortunately had time for just two quick responses. So, and it's not, of course, on the panelists. It's just that we do have to move forward so we can get to the next one. So, I want to thank the panelists. And if I haven't had a chance to mention it over here in VR chat, there are two main goals that we have. Thank you. There's two main goals that we have with this event. One is for people who are outside the headset to get a chance to see what we do in here, to see the opportunities and how we actually move in here. Two is to actually foster networking and conversation amongst everybody that's in here in the metaverse right now. There are producers who may need singers, they may need spitters. There are management people who are looking for artists. There may be people who are looking to do tour logistics, whatever the case may be. Probably your next best business partner may very well be here in the metaverse and you haven't had a chance to meet them. So I know I see we do got two people that would have had questions or comments. Unfortunately, for this panel, we won't. But I promise on the next one, we're going to give you an opportunity to speak for anyone who may, or just a couple who may. So again, I want to thank everybody for joining panel 5. We're going to go ahead and close this panel out. And then what we're going to do,
Thank you, guys.
give about 5 minutes and proceed to the next one. So again, Tink, Yo Afro, Jen Smash, Mystic Spirit, Peoples, Goddess, Suda Q, and Nick T. Thank you all.
All right. So thank you, everyone, for being here tonight and for joining us. I know some of the people on our panel right now have already introduced themselves last time, but I'm going to ask if for those of you who have not already given your little elevator speech, if we could start. I know Tink, you were up here, so let's start with M5 Divine Time. If you could please tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm in 5 Divine Time. I am co-founder of Divine Lux Properties as well as Lux Vision Studios. Lux Vision Studios is a multimedia and social media promotions company, which streams on all platforms, including social and Roku and Fire Stick. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for joining us. All right, on to CJ Shotlow. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, y'all. I'm doing stuff at the same time. I'm CJ. I'm the second half of Divine Lux Properties and Lux Vision Studios, as Divine said, where we do streaming and everything. I'm a 3D modeler, developer, all of that. So, yeah, I'm just simple.
Thank you for joining us. All right. Meta Clean Rupert, I know you were on with us last night, but we were in a different platform. So if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself over again.
Rupert, I'm the owner of Sense. Goal is to help create and businesses virtually.
Is he breaking up for everybody else?
Yeah, I can't hear him.
Yeah, well, you're breaking up, Ru.
Okay, he might be having a little bit of technical difficulty. Let's move down to Soul G. Soul G, please introduce yourself to everyone.
Hey, everybody. My name is Soul G, platinum music producer, proprietor of Soul G Beats. I've worked with a lot of artists, and also proprietor and Bigger Better Meta for for Bigger Better Meta. We did a music video in here called Welcome to the Metaverse when we were in Alt Space. Worked with a gentleman named Sir Saxy, and we did, a lot of stuff in here, VR enthusiasts, but mainly a music producer and artist.
Thank you so much, Soul. We're glad to have you with us today. So we're going to talk a little bit about relationships with the media and the press. I've got an extensive background in marketing. So in the real world, I've done a lot with the media and the press. It's very different here in the metaverse. So let's talk a little bit about how we can effectively utilize virtual press releases within the metaverse, which are, for the most part, done through social media. Tink, let's start with you. Could you tell us a little bit about how you feel they can be effectively utilized?
Well, when it comes to marketing, like someone like People Publicist, she has her world out in the real world. She's a publicist. Get with people like her. Get with people like Bad Bougie Magazine to get your stories out there, to get out there what you're doing here in the metaverse. So people in the outside world can know a little bit more about this, because honestly, most people think it's a game. A lot of people don't take it serious because they're not in here. They don't know the businesses. They don't know the networking that goes on in here. When I was doing different networking Mondays and stuff like that, I would go live on Facebook. just so people can actually see. And I would introduce everybody individually. So the people in the outside world, and I connected it to my actual Facebook, not my VR Facebook, my Facebook with my family and my friends and stuff like that out here, so they can actually see what goes on in here. And by me introducing people individually and exactly what their titles are and what they do in here, it let people out there know what was going on. So do stuff like that, even when we're having events like this. And I should have, but go live. Go live, tag different outlets in it. Because after a while, the algorithm will start picking up, especially the more views you get. A lot of people think, oh, why pay for views on TikTok? Because that's more people getting it out there. That's more people viewing it. And like someone said earlier, you don't know who's watching what you're doing. So it might be those media outlets that have no idea what really goes on in here, that's seeing it from a different perspective that could bring, more knowledge to them out there and more press to you in here. So don't be afraid to do that. Overdo it if you have to.
Okay. Would you like to expand on that a little bit, Divine? Oh, maybe she's having some technical difficulties with her sound.
There we go. Sorry. As far as expanding on that, I would say what we've done with Lux Vision Studios is we've developed relationships with people on the outside. When we developed the company, we made sure that our relationships that we had with businesses prior, we made sure we kept that connection going. We don't really put a barrier between VR and real world rules apply. So we just across the board do it the same as if we were going to do it outside. So it's just really developing those strong relationships with companies, going to conferences, going to different events in your local area and letting people know what you're doing, because that also increases your visibility, along with, of course, your social media and website and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Peoples, I'd like to ask you to, comment on this one, especially because this is what you do, is try to help people get themselves out there and known and seen. So what are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely. So as far as like press releases go, like in the traditional media, it's usually just like a write-up and then you're sending it out to different journalists or putting it on the wire service. But I feel as though here in the metaverse, we are anything but traditional here in this space. And getting the outside media to know exactly what's going on in here, we can work what we have in here to our advantage, right? So if you're reaching out to the media, why not do a video inside of your world? Bring them into your world. If you send a traditional press release through the email to the media, they may or may not open it. But imagine them opening you inside of your world, talking about what's going down, the events you have going on, everything like that, and you're sending it out to them through email. They will that would literally blow their mind. I know it's kind of hard, in this space because it is so new, and we're all here starting like on the same platform, but we have to kind of push the envelope a little bit here. Like it's no reason why we have all these things at our disposal, all these things we're able to create in a day's time. And there's no reason why you can't get the exposure you need from the outside here. And you also have the outlets here in the metaverse as well that we need to utilize. You have, Bad, Bougie, and Branded magazine, which is doing, amazing things. You have the Metaverse Mag Culture magazine. Like, reach out to these journalists who are covering visual art, who are covering culture. You can do a quick search on Twitter to find journalists who are in your niche and start connecting with them. Start building relationships with them on the outside, letting them know exactly what's going on. Even if you send an email, you don't get a reply right away, send another email next month. There's another email in 2 months. Let them keep them updated on what is happening on in here so you can get the exposure. And it's not only going to help you as your brand, but it's going to help all of us here as a community.
Okay, so coming off of the comments you just made there, all of you kind of touched on the first two topics we had here, but you led into dealing with metaverse journalists and influencers. So let's talk about that for a little bit, because, it's one thing to, if you know someone at, Bad Bougie Magazine is amazing. They do a great job at profiling people and you sending them their information. But there's something to be said for just, hey, I want to do this piece within your world, and actually building a relationship so they actually want to promote you more. Tink, you are really good at making relationships with people within the metaverse and then pushing their events, pushing out, their successes and sharing them with people. So let's talk a bit about how to build an actual relationship instead of it just being a one-off, hey, can you just promote me? And here, I'm going to make you a collaborator. How do you actually form relationships to get people on board with your brand and with your marketing?
Ooh, Badu, I'm sorry, I was muted, didn't even know it. Doing exactly what you said I do. You make personal relationships and you make exchanges. You support each other. Like it's a major key to that, because if you don't have that, I don't go to people's stuff and promote their stuff because they asked me to do it. I do it because I had a good time when I was there. And the same way people do in the real world when they go to a club, they take pictures, they tag it on Google. So when you go and you search up that club, you have a review for that club. That's how that club gets promoted, right? These people are not doing it because they're investing in the club. They're doing it because, hey, I had a good time. I want to show other people. Like, they might have just caught the best vibe of the night just going to that place. A lot of times when people have events and stuff in here, that's what I do. I catch a really good vibe going there. Like, I might have just been having a really bad day. So I catch a really great vibe and I'll go take pictures, make a reel, and, add them as a collaborator. But when you do that, now other people are seeing it and it's growing more and more. So then now if anything should come up, now you've had a personal relationship with somebody. You started something just out of just a genuine, hey, thank you for making me feel good. So then if you so happen to need to ask someone for something, or you want to network with someone, or if you have an idea that you feel like this person, y'all had exchanged good energy and might work together, like with Rupert, like with Afro, it was just a really good exchange of energy. It's not a time that they can't call me, Marcus can't call me at the drop of a dime and say, hey, Tink, would you mind doing X, Y, and Z? No, not a problem. And then when my artists want to have their music out there, hey, Marcus, do you mind putting my artist on your radio station? You understand? It's making those personal relationships where I know you're reliable. I know you're reliable. Thank you for being there. Thank you for being there. But then you have things like this where once it grows, now you'll go from that level to marketing it to where it could be a ticketed event. And now you have this whole team of people that you could get together, in which you may have had an idea for a year ago. You can actually bring to life this year because you made these personal relationships. And now you can build a team, whether I'm on a Zen Royals and y'all on Mr. Block Party. Right now, we one team. We're going to work together because that whole personal circle of relationships worked. So if this goes further and it gets out there in the media, and now we have other celebrities coming in, you want to make it a ticketed event. We did it together because we worked on a genuine relationship as a team and grew something bigger as a community. It starts with those type of personal relationships. If you don't have that, everybody's going to compete. Nobody's going to win. So it starts there, literally.
Yes, I agree with you. And I'd like to, we're gonna have to wrap this one a little bit shorter, but I do want to touch on a couple more things. So I'm going to actually move down to MetaClean and Soul. I would like each of you to give us a few moments of, talking about, since you've done things both in the metaverse and in the real world, how, Rupert, I'd like to ask you, how do you prep your clients that you're trying to push out there for, virtual media interviews and appearances? How do you get, somebody who's new in here with a little bit of talent that really doesn't have a name out there yet, be able to, push them out to the public and get them ready for that? What do you do to prep them?
Sure. So, first of all, can you all hear me now?
Yes, you're good.
Okay. All right. Yes. So for me, man, it's kind of simple. So one thing that I always approach the metaverse with when it comes to branding is sometimes it's really easy to project what I want to do through somebody else. And sometimes, because I've been here a little while and I've been very active, right, I realize that sometimes my name is very recognizable when it shouldn't be. So my strategy always is make sure that I can portray whatever image that person wants to be seen as, right, through their voice. When people come to me with an idea, yes, I can help them strategize through a situation, but really it's how do you want to be perceived in this space, right? And it always kind of starts with authenticity and being genuine to your craft. If I can help relay that message from that person to their audience, and that's a win. But also, I think it's also we have to kind of stop this separation between the real world and the virtual world, right? Because I try not to say the word real world because, behind the headset, I'm a real person. And the distinction that I try to make is physical and virtual. And that really is the only difference, right? Because I show up to the space authentic. Hopefully most of the people that show up in this space are authentic because it just builds a stronger relationship for sustainability and longevity. Because if you don't have to reinvent yourself as a new person with each person that you meet, right, then you can just show up as you are and just worry more about your craft than to be.
Sure. All right, then my last question is going to be for Soul G. You've definitely done a lot in the real world and had to deal, I'm sure, with plenty of, press and write-ups and everything else. So as far as media coverage for events that we have in here, I mean, we all post things on Instagram and Facebook, but do you feel that, the offerings for Metaverse media coverage are enough to generate interest and get people in here?
I think that what doesn't exist like at the present moment might exist tomorrow because there's always something new springing up. I mean, since remember back when we were in All Space and there was really no metaverse promotion, and just look how many companies have sprung up now. So I think something somebody else said on the panel is unconventional. Since the metaverse is kind of unconventional, like there's tried and true methods that work in the quote unquote real outside world, like Rupert said, instead of the metaverse, but also innovations, things like when we did Welcome to the Metaverse, we just cold sent emails and we just did Google searches of anything metaverse, any metaverse publications, and we just sent emails. And what we ended up doing was getting the head of marketing of Altspace behind us, and he did press releases for us. He got us in a couple of magazines, digital magazines and stuff. So to me, it's leaving no stone unturned, as just reaching out, and also the networking part of it and working with people. As you know, I was with Bigger, Better, Meta, and kind of not gonna say it folded, but it's keeping focus in here. Sometimes it's hard because people have things going on in their life. So I'm in the process now of kind of rebuilding and figuring out where I fit within this space, and people have reached out to me, people like Tank, thank you so much. And again, but it's reaching out, doing different things, and collaboration. Everything that I've done in here, the best things have been things that I've done with other people. When it's great. It's great working with people in here, and the fact that you get to meet people from so many different cross sections of society. You never know who you're sitting next to or where they're at.
Well, it seems to me that we've established between last night and tonight so far that the 3 C's, collaboration, community, and consistency, are what actually make everybody successful. So thank you all for coming on here tonight and sharing your insights on these topics. And we're going to take a short break now, and we'll go on to panel 7. And thank you all for being here tonight for these comments and questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sadhiro.
Thank you.
All right, again, I want to thank everybody that's in the building here tonight, everybody that supported yesterday, everybody that's supporting today. We definitely thank you. Want to welcome everybody again to the Metaverse Music Conference. We actually have another amazing panel up here. This is our third panel for the evening. We have Cosmic Kai, Koan Kimpachi. We have Jen Smash, Mystic Spirit, Metaclean Rupert, and Topaz One Time. So I want to thank everybody for joining.
The homie.
Panel number 7. So what I'm going to do is ask before I present to you what the panel is, that each panel member give us a quick 30-second elevator pitch and tell us a little bit about yourself. 30 seconds.
Oh, are we starting now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, shit. Oh, all right. First and
If you
foremost,
notice
peace and
Cosmic
hippie
Kai's
love to
outfit, I
everybody.
promise you it is truly appropriate for Cosmic Kai.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yo, listen, peace and love to everybody. That's number one. You know what I'm saying? Like, word, you know what I mean? And yo, I go by Cosmic Kai. I'm a stoner, Fred Hemp stoner, the Stone Age, and I do music. I'm a hip hop recording artist in and outside of the metaverse. And this is just something that I love to do. I discovered the metaverse. I want to say by mistake, but it was destiny, I guess. And, I'm ready to, innovate in this space as well as, innovate with others in this space, or as everybody else is doing. That's about it.
All right, cool. We appreciate that. Koan Kimpachi, let the people know about yourself.
Yo, my name is Koan Kimpachi. I've been playing music since I was 6 years old, instrumental music. I've been touring around for better than 20 years, doing music professionally. I got like 4 albums. I was very closely, almost nominated for a Grammy. I was like 6 votes away from a Grammy nomination. I mean, I've just been doing this for quite a while, man. Hip hop is my life. I live it. I love it. I also happen to be a professional stoner. Yeah. So that's one thing me and my homies share together. But I just enjoy life and music, and bringing that hip hop out there. I want to give people back this whole vibe that hip hop gave me, when I was coming up. So that's really my whole purpose. I'm just out here to spread this music and this culture.
All right, she should be a pro at this now, but Jen Smash, 30 seconds. Tell us about yourself.
Hey, I'm Jen Smash. I am a professional stoner. No, just kidding. Just kidding. I am an accountant for everybody, an entrepreneur, a true entrepreneur, and an amputee. I represent the amputee community. Never give up is my motto, and that's it.
All right. And I love that never give up. You definitely need some of that in the metaverse here, no matter what you're doing.
That's right. That's right.
If you don't mind, tell
hi.
people a little bit about yourself again.
I'm Tanisha, aka Mystic Spirit, the other half of Mystic Spirit Music Group. We're an independent record label. I run it with my artist, who's also my daughter. So I guess you could say I'm a momager. We specialize in independent artists, especially bands in the emo punk genre.
That's the true 30-second elevator pitch. I like that. All right, and then next to her left, we have the one and only Metaclean Rupert. Metaclean, tell the people about yourself.
Sure. What's up, everyone? My name is Metaclean Rupert. I am a creative. I have a history in music, fashion, photographer. I understand how to make money as a creative, and I try to.
I hope I'm not talking at the same time you are, but your sound blinked out for me mid-sentence. I'm not sure the same happened for others. If I'm talking over you right now, please forgive me.
No, you don't. Can you hear me now?
Oh, there he is.
Now we hear you. Now I can hear you.
Okay, let's try it again. All right, so my name is
Nope.
All right, so my name is Metaclean Rupert. I have a 30+ year career in fashion, music. I used to be a photographer. I'm a creative that made money as a creative, and I'm here to kind of share it and mentor creative process.
And that's Metaclean Rupert.
Yes, for some of us, he is on the other side of the world, and it's a great chance he may be having some connectivity issues. So we're going to go ahead and slide down to toe page one time. Please tell the people about yourself.
Well, Brooklyn's own Richard Cook. I'm from the Jamaican Cook family, owner of Topaz One Time Studio. If you never heard of it, you can YouTube it. All musical business partners and my Meta community all know me by Topaz One Time. Jack of all trades, I'm saying to you. I support very much anybody that I come in contact with. 1/3 of the Holy Trinity at Truth Nightclub on Horizon, I'm known for musical production, assistance, mixing and mastering, video, content creator, DJing, promotional extraordinaire, and basically any little small project or large project I could get onto. That's what I do.
You got to be versatile in here. So I tell you what, with that, let's go ahead and jump into this here. So our first bullet point under navigating the independent music scene. What does the metaverse have to offer artists in the metaverse? Who would like to start that one off?
Well, I say the metaverse offers artists a vast variety of potential fan base, first and foremost. Like, I think bigger than anything else, the metaverse allows you to touch so many people from so many different places at one time.
The metaverse allows representation as well. If you feel like you're not represented, I guarantee you are in the metaverse. And if you are not, this is where you can create that space for others just like you.
Well, I believe that the metaverse has brought back a full restart for everybody who's ever been aspiring to be somebody. Whether it's bartending, DJing, any type of musical production in general, any type of lifestyle that you haven't been able to live in real life, any little problems that you've ever had in this space, you can be that person. Mostly, a lot of people come in with their real life stuff and they promote it and bring it to higher heights. So it's just a new opportunity for you to take an opportunity in yourself and moving forward in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that the metaverse, just as Kawan said, like it delivers like a vast majority of opportunities for artists in the metaverse. Whether you do music, whether you're a painter, any type of art, digital art. People have art galleries in here. If you don't have an art gallery in real life, you know what I'm saying? You can create a whole art gallery. And not just any art gallery, you can create the building to be whatever it is you want to be. Something that's going to be captivating to the eye, to where you can't do it in real life, to capture people's attention. So you have a new innovative way to display your work, as a music artist. I never thought that I would be doing music in the metaverse, but it's a digital way to display a new digital way to display your music. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You have the avatar, and you could dress your avatar up to fit, the mold of who you are, or to fit your style. And we got music videos now, and you know what I'm saying? We could do shows. We're doing concerts. Scripters are able to put their skills to work. So many different things, that for people, like to show off their artwork and also collaborate all together. Because at the end of the day, everybody's collaborating. People that we probably would never think would collaborate. Music artists, scripters.
Absolutely.
So much.
I mean, people you would not even met. And
that's right.
You would not even know them,
That's right.
Personally, it's another stream of income. I'm a financial person. So think of it, the notorious B.I.G. I said last night was in concert in the metaverse, and his family is eating today off of that. So that's what I see as bringing is another stream of revenue and income.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll say, listen, if you had barriers of entry in your physical world, those barriers can be removed here in virtual reality.
Absolutely. It's a full restart.
That's a fact.
Okay, so let me ask the panelists here. How can independent artists leverage the metaverse for self-promotion?
By building worlds and experiences that promote their music. Like I said, we're in the emo punk genre. So the first thing I did when I got to the metaverse was I looked for all the punk bars, all the punk clubs, all the emo punk clubs, all the people I knew who would listen to that type of music, and then I just looked for other people in the music genre. So I'd say it helps promote yourself. You can build the world. You can promote your style. And that's what I'm gonna say right now. God damn.
Record video.
So I'll say this. So, as a person who doesn't perform on stage, right, I analyze this space a lot. So I would say, capitalize on the newness of this medium, because there isn't, when I came in, there wasn't a whole lot to do. So we kind of gravitated to things, and then we kind of found our community within that. But this is a new medium, and people are interested, even though you think they're not. If you build it, they may come. I'm not going to say they will come, but because you're here early, really seriously, because you're here early, right? It gives you an advantage as opposed to being here 5 years from now when it's really saturated, and then you're fighting for your voice to be heard.
Right, we are like breaking ground with this, and you know what I'm saying. Like that's another thing I like about that. We on like the cutting edge of a new technology and a new way to not only do art and music, to do everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's only a matter of time before this takes the place of what social media used to be.
Right.
You know
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And here, we get to be those people who pioneer that. So, in that same vein, we already legends. You know what I'm saying? So, that's pretty dope.
Absolutely.
That's a fact. Exactly what they just said. Like, this is, we are at a time right now where, like, we are innovating the space. You know what I'm saying? Because while we're here, and the rest of the world hasn't caught on to it yet, we've been the ones that's been building the opportunities, or building the environments, the communities that's been, thriving in these spaces. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a whole community for people who freestyle, a community for people who, just do art. It's so many communities, but everybody meshed together, you know what I'm saying? In a different way. People are like, you doing this in virtual reality? And I'm one of those people in real life. I take my headset and put it on somebody's head real quick and be like, yo, check this shit out. Like, you got to see this. Like, you can't see it on Instagram. You got to see this. And then when they see it, like my boy S Wavy in here, he's seen it and he went and got a headset the next day. Because now
you don't understand it till you in it.
It's captivating. Right.
Yeah. You don't understand it till you in it.
It's an experience. It's an experience like Cosmic Kai on a mushroom in concert. It's the best $10 I spent.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Liddy. Thank you.
It's all about the experience.
Cosmic Kai did a concert here a few months back that at some point you're going to hear us probably reference it several times, though. But for those who don't know, he actually came in for the concert, flying around in a flying saucer over the stadium as well. So one of the things that we all know that you could, to do that same thing outside the headset,
costs a lot of money.
A lot.
A couple $100,000, like easy. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about a quarter for that. When it comes to insurance,
$1 million worth of insurance.
Yeah, that's what I was guessing. Probably close to about a quarter plus for that. So
big shout out to Mr. Waterloo and the Block.
Yes,
absolutely.
Shout out to the Block, Waterloo.
Absolutely,
everybody. For real. Shout out to everybody, because again, this space ain't nothing without us. Like I said, we're like Koan said, we are the legends. Like, we're the pioneers of this right now. Like this is what we're doing
like
right
the
now.
George Washingtons and Ben Franklins of this shit, dog.
Nah, I don't think so. Nah.
I'm telling you,
sleeves ain't doing
20 years from now, people gonna look back and be like, yo, these were the people who built the metaverse and made it what it is.
Can you give me some?
We're gonna be the Cosmic Cars, the Corn Kapachis, the Gin Smashers, the Mr. Strings, the Meta Queens. That's what we gonna do. No George
And everybody here's a trailblazer. Well, I'll tell you what, panelists, let me do this here. Panelists, I'm going to ask one more question because we've been promising the guests the audience a chance to ask a question or two, and we haven't let them do that. So we're going to ask just one more question, and then we're going to let one or two people from the audience ask a question. So I'll tell you what. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to go to the last point that we have here, because I definitely know Metaclean and a couple others could have something about this. But how can artists use virtual platforms to gain exposure and sales?
Well, coming back from... go ahead, Meta. Sorry about that.
No. By all means, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, being the fact that we're doing the pioneering of this situation right now, we're coming back from AOL days, Yahoo days, in person printing 100,000 fucking CDs just to come back and sell them to people on the street and stuff like that. Like this space has opened that to a whole nother scale, you know what I'm saying, to you being able to connect with one another, people in Australia, people in China, people in all over the place, you know what I mean? You're getting your music out there worldwide without actually having to go worldwide or travel to those places. I've seen people selling all type of things on here, not only like scripts or whatever services, but in music alone, I've seen people revolutionized their whole career all over again. Stuff that they created 7 years ago now becomes the new leading for them now. As long as they've put that strength into it from then till now, it'll always precede itself moving forward. Like a old school Luther Vandross that's being played right now. You know what I'm saying to you? It's like these things have helped us to create a new space in this world that wasn't able before in any other way.
Merchandise. I think merchandise.
Absolutely.
So man, so I like to do a lot with the intangibles, right? So what that basically means is, as somebody that understands how this works, and what it takes to make it all happen. For me, it's always more about the spirit and the intentions in which we do things, right? I kind of embody it sometimes when I say sentiment. Like, what is a sentiment of the action that you're doing? And I want everybody to realize why virtual reality became so popular. Because it's been around for about 10 years, right? And PlayStation has tried to enter the space. Nintendo entered the space for a little bit, but the real reason that it kicked off the way it did was because we were forced to put these headsets on during the pandemic. And honestly, we're like one major event away from being forced to do that again. And I don't want to wish doom and gloom on anybody, but I want to talk about the realities of existence right now and how easily the world can change. Right. We now realize that as we were sitting at home, there were opportunities for us to expand our businesses and expand our brands. Like, shout out to Cyber Shay, and I want to make sure I say her name so everybody knows, right? Because she created a book from the metaverse that she was able to capitalize on financially, and it was like a bestseller on Amazon for a few weeks, right? That all started during the pandemic when sometimes other economic opportunities didn't present itself, right? So we had to be for my upbringing, right? We grew up, a lot of us grew up in poverty. Not saying that we were beggars on the street, but we didn't grow up with means, right? And I truly believe scarcity breeds innovation, and we are thriving in this space right now because we know that whatever we are missing from our physical worlds, we can now make up for virtually and create these amazing experiences, not only for us, but the people who are close to us. It's just a second chance for a lot of people.
Talk the things, my brother.
Word.
Real talk.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I definitely got to thank the panelists for all their insights, all their views. It looks like Mike Lowry and maybe G Deuce. Do both of you actually have questions? I just want to make sure you didn't accidentally hit it. If you actually have questions, I'm going to ask that you both come up to the stage and ask your question. We had a mic out there, but we had to glitch it out. So
Yeah, please do. And listen, I know everybody in this room is really understands what the metaverse is, right? I know the majority of people are in here. You all have platforms, but ask the questions you think your friends may want to hear as they rewatch this broadcast. Because I know all of you know the answers to most of the stuff that we know already, but ask the questions that you think the people close to you may want to ask, or you just maybe haven't been able to translate.
Ask the real questions in translation. Ask the real questions.
Get some unfiltered answers.
So I guess I'm gonna ask one more time. Do we have a question or two from the audience?
So G's raising his hand.
Oh, So G, come on through, So G.
Okay. So my question is, how important is legacy and lineage in here, since we're here in the beginning? Kind of like with hip hop, you know how hip hop has a whole forgotten past? How important is documenting the past as it goes on in here?
Man, can I answer that real quick? Look, let me tell you, man. It is all about the ability to tell your story. Legacy is so important in documenting the journey. The same way we can look back and watch movies about when television started, how automobiles came to be, how families it's. I think it's critical. Like everybody should be mentioned as much as they possibly can, because we don't know what the ripple effect of what we do right now is going to have 20,
That's
30
right.
years from now.
That's right.
Secondly, yeah, go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say, I don't think hip hop has a forgotten past.
That's what I was gonna say. Actually,
Not at all.
Literally,
Not at all.
Hip hop. I know hip hop.
That's what I was gonna say.
Know hip hop. And
if
we
you
here
forgot
with it,
hip hop
you know what I'm
past, you
saying?
wasn't a real hip hopper, right? Like you don't forget that one, because hip hop is something you live. It's like a culture, right? People get
in
rap
your
and
bloodstream.
confused. You know what I'm saying? Like rap is what you do. Hip hop is who you are and how you live.
That's right.
If you true to that, you don't ever forget that history. So if you forgot hip hop history, you really not a hip hopper. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's not you forgetting it. But now, okay. So when we go back to the 70s or when it was created, like a lot of that stuff has been watered down, and also history has been rewritten. Some things are accepted as fact that aren't actually factual. So there is definitely a forgotten aspect to the pioneers and the people who without we wouldn't even have hip hop.
I see what you're saying, but why don't
I
we
think
take
only
that
people
space
who
right
could
here?
get tricked will get tricked by something like that. If you don't know, you won't have an actual plan.
My plan is simple. I'm trying to make a way of making money in the metaverse for the hip hop people, artists in here, and we have to push the element. We just have to push the envelope and band together and demand what you're worth, and that's what I'm.
That's
here
right.
for.
That's the reason why we're using these in beta function.
I want to answer your question. To how important is legacy here? Legacy is as important as we make it. You know what I'm saying? Because
that's right.
If you want to talk about why hip hop lost its way, is because you got to think about it. We created hip hop, but we don't even own it. We gave it away.
That's
we
right.
Sold it
That's
out.
right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
So in this
That's
case,
right.
if we want to make sure that legacy is important, we can't sell out what we doing. So
that's right.
It is important as we decide to make it. Period.
That's right.
To answer the question.
Yeah. Integrity matters here. Yeah.
Integrity. I love that. I love that answer. Definitely. Definitely. And passion. Passion. I said it yesterday. Passion. Yeah. Like
and money. Let's be real.
Money's facts, but
I mean, money is a good
money
goes.
but the money will come. The money will come.
The money comes. Yeah. I don't really chase money, you know what I'm saying? I chase my happiness and my passion, what I want to do, and that's just kind of a byproduct of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if you're really passionate about what you do, you find ways to make it work for you.
Absolutely.
If you look at it, if you look at it only from money is why we lost hip hop.
Why we sold out.
Exactly. That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
So
then I won't have a job.
We was
I won't
chasing
have
the
a
money.
job.
But this is the
Chasing the
thing.
money.
I hate to do this, but we do have to cut this one
This is
off.
the thing.
We got to move to our next panel. But here's the thing, and I'm glad that we have a conversation like this. This is one thing I want to say briefly. As I said earlier, I want to make sure that we're fostering these new conversations that should be happening. You just saw what happened here. We could have sat here for another hour, and right now, that question that Soul G asked, we wouldn't even be able to come up with a full answer for that in that much time.
Absolutely.
So with that being stated, I definitely want to thank our panelists. I want to thank Soul G for having the question, Cosmic Kai, Kawan, Jen Smash, Mystic Spirit, Meta Clean, and Topaz. One time.
One time.
Gracing the
Appreciate
stage
y'all.
here.
Peace and
Great love and fire in that valley.
Panelists, I think this is going to be a treat for you, especially the ones that's on the music production tip. Actually,
This
Soul
shit was
G,
good.
if you don't
Dog.
mind, you might as well just stay here on stage.
All right, we back at it again with the back at it again. Listen, let me let y'all introduce yourselves. We're going to start with Kip. We are discussing panel number 8. Here we go. Music production basics. So we're going to introduce our panel first, and we're going to start with the one, the legendary Kip, Mr. Builder. Bob the Builder is what I call him. Kip, let's get it.
Yo, what's good? What's good? To some of y'all, I am Kip York, also Kip VR. As you know, I am a builder in the metaverse, but also I am an engineer / producer, IRL. You know what I'm saying? I've worked with a lot of artists over a 20-year span, and yeah, I'm just excited to see where the metaverse is taking music to. Yes, sir.
That's right.
All right, Soul G.
Soul G, old school rapper turned music producer. I've worked with TLC, DOS Effects, Public Enemy, P. Diddy, no Diddy.
Everybody.
I worked with the nice P. Diddy before the scandals and stuff. And also
For the freak out.
yeah, and we have Flashy and I have a long running show we doing here called the Freestyle Power Hour. It's been running about how long, Flashy?
Shoot, about 3 years almost?
Yeah, so every Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern time, we spin beats, original beats, current beats, and you could just come in and we play games with it. Sometimes we pick a word and you got to do rhymes off the word, but it's cool. It's dope. All the spitters in here, the singers, poets, come through Fridays, 10 p.m. Eastern time, VR chat.
For sure.
All right, Luke, give it Luke, give it Luke.
Yes, DJ Luke, California-based producer, engineer, musician, radio show host, singer, voiceover artist. I do a whole bunch of stuff, and yeah,
saxophone.
Everybody up here, almost. Yeah, well, I play. Yeah, that's my main instrument. Been playing that for many years, but yeah, and a lot of the sampler represented up here. For folks who don't know about the sampler, look up, go to itsthesampler.com. And you can find out information on that amazing event,
show,
as well as djluke.biz.
Yes,
all
sir.
right.
Get it.
All right,
Shout
Mr.
out to
Ice
the
Out Thursday, Flashy.
Hey, what's good? I'm Flashy One, aka your host favorite host. You know what I mean? I host two events that's in VR chat. I host with Soul G. I host Freestyle Power Hour, and on Thursdays I host with Cyber Shay and with Lux VR. Rich, shout out to Rich. We do Iced Out Thursdays. We have an event going on every Thursday, 9:00 Eastern. We have that going on. I'm a producer also. I produce. I do also an artist. Also a sampler champion. I believe season 3 or season 2. Y'all want to check that out? It's pretty dope. Y'all want to come on and check that out? We do big things up in here. You'd be surprised what you can get out of VR if you really put your mind to it. Making relationships and make some big things happen.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Mike Lowry.
By Lowry.
Hey, Lar. It's like they say the name, and it's like, y'all know who it is. So, I do a lot of stuff from, over in Horizons, do a lot of entertaining, but I am an artist as well. A lot of people know me for my singing. I'm a writer as well, producer, musician. Again, another guy who's a part of the Sampler champion in one of the seasons. Shout out to the Sampler.
The Sampler.
Yeah, we in here doing real music, man. Like, what it is.
And we got Ty Sky at the end. Everybody know the sampler is about to start when y'all see Ty Sky face jump up on the screen with that. That's when y'all know it's about to get cracking. So what's going on, Ty Sky the DJ?
Sink, what up? What up? Thank you for having me here. Appreciate this and appreciate everybody. My name is Ty Scott, the DJ. I am a sound designer and a DJ. I create soundscapes and vibes for VR. This is everything from DJing Metaverse events. I DJ hundreds of parties between Outspace and VR Chat and Spatial and Horizon. I'm also a resident DJ at the Sampler, Sky Song, Billionaire Club, and also DJ from time to time for a spot called Intoxination. I also a director. I've directed 2 award-winning Metaverse films. One is Sunset, the other one is called Juice 3000. I'm also a music producer and produce songs for Metaverse artist Shani Love. We have a song called Thankful, and Harles Mack, we got a song called Chosen. And I'm feel very privileged to be here in front of everybody to hear tonight.
All right. Well, we want to thank y'all for being here. Awesome panel. So let's get into it. You all have different engineering techniques and skills behind you. How can artists create professional quality recordings for virtual reality?
You want me to get that?
Who's going?
I'll go for it. Okay.
I want to start there.
Don't rush the stage.
Right.
Really, what you want to do, if you really want to do some
Go ahead.
If you really want to do some professional music in VR, as far as really starting off, you have a lot of people in VR. Say, for example, you have different people you have Kip, you have Soji, you have different people in here that you can lock into if you want to get your music quality. Because one thing about it, putting your music out there, you want a good quality sound, and especially dealing with the headsets that you're dealing with. You got to make sure your quality is on point. But if you want to start off yourself, you probably want to go get you a good DAW, like a Pro Tools, FL Studios, whatever you can get. But make sure you take your time and really know what you're doing and really getting a training to be able to get that ear that you can get that good quality sound that you want. And then from that point on, get in there and do your thing. It's possible to do it. You just have to just go out there and but make sure you get the education to be able to do it. If you don't have the education, go out there and get somebody to do it for you.
Straight up.
What I would say is the first question was, how do you create high quality professional?
How can artists create professional quality recordings for virtual reality?
The first thing you do is take off for virtual reality. You just want to create high quality professional recordings.
Right.
And
point blank.
Facts.
So, and the next thing is, somebody has already done some things to save you years in developing your ear and things like that. So what you want to do is you want to listen to commercially mixed and mastered music, and we do something called A-B-ing, like A and B. So you listen to that, you see how that sounds coming through your system, because you may not have the ideal system. That doesn't mean that you can't make professional sounding music. You just need to have what's called a reference. You need to know what professional sounding music sounds like on your system, but on your system. And then when you're mixing your music, you mix it as close to what that professional sounding music sounds like on your system. And you can't go wrong by listening to what's out there And, you know, because when a DJ is DJing, if your shit gets low or it starts sounding mad crackly or whatever, he's not going to put it in his set. Same thing with a radio station. It has to fit in the playlist. It has to fit. It has to be, here's that word again, consistency. It has to be consistent to, you know, through a DJ set, to a radio, you know, set or whatever. It just has to fit in. So reference.
Thanks.
Yo, can I bank off what you're saying? And even what Flashy said? You have to have that. But at the end of the day, too, you know, it's just like anything else. If you don't have that skill, you can't develop that ear, because everybody's not going to have that ear. You got to understand that. But it's people that do this professionally. So you got to be willing to invest in your craft. If this is something you're going to take serious, like anything, you got to be willing to invest in it and get the professional help to, you know, get your sound up there if you need to.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir. So that kind of goes.
It goes back to networking.
Exactly.
Right.
It goes back to networking for people that can fill in the gaps of your expertise. So no matter, at the end of the day, the end product is going to be exactly what it needs to be.
Absolutely. You should use that, Luke. Absolutely.
That's dope.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. What sound engineering techniques are essential for virtual environments?
Let me speak on this real quick, because I have a perspective on this. So if you would have asked me that question, say 3-4 years ago, back in alt space, I might have a different answer, because as this stuff has grown, this VR stuff has grown, a lot of the, I break it up into two things: method of music delivery in the apps, and every app is different, as well as the devices that people have. Now, a lot of people have these, Meta devices, the Quest and all that, and you're either listening in the speakers that are on it. I don't do that. I actually have earbuds. So I don't know the percentages of who's listening on what, but for people that have earbuds in, it's going to be a better listening experience. I want to roll with what Solji was saying. You don't really want to tailor it for VR. You want to just have it done the best you can. Years ago in alt space, the biggest problem that I found in providing music, I kind of got lazy on a few mixes of things. In the engineering world, you want to, say, for instance, mix in stereo as well as mono. And in alt space, people that would use the music bots and other means, getting to the means of delivery, a couple of my mixes were horrible because I just kind of rushed something I wanted to have played in here, and there were sounds missing because the people using the music bots, like another avatar. So I think we've reached a point now where here in VR chat, the delivery systems, I think all the apps are starting to have quality delivery, full stereo sound. So I don't think there is gearing things toward VR, just like Soul said.
Right.
I'm basically enhancing what everyone's saying or strengthening that. Get it professionally done or learn how to do it. I wouldn't worry so much about changing your approach because it's VR. I think the technology is
you still gonna get the
great
same thing,
now, overall.
You're gonna get the same thing.
I agree.
But I'm gonna give a slightly different perspective, because I've also done like sound design and effects in VR environments. So because of that, I would say something that's very important is, just gain staging, headroom, but also stereo imaging can have a great effect in VR. Panning width and depth, and being able to put sounds in space to be able to kind of have directional sound is very important. I know I did one. It was kind of like a binaural soundscape, and again being very important about the stereo space that you're in, and understanding local sound, world sound, and how that kind of mixes together when you're trying to do some realistic kind of environmental sounds.
What I add something to that is this is like a mixing law. The mix lives in the mid range. If you have a good if you have your in that mid range and learn frequency. Learn frequency, learn where where a kick sits at, where a snare sits at, where a hi-hat sits at, but your mix lives in the mid-range. And if you got that mix sounding good in mid-range, it's going to translate to different devices. Because that's the same thing in the real world. We don't mix a song and just listen to it on the speakers that we mix it on.
Exactly.
We mix it, then we might listen to it on a Studer, a mono speaker, or an Orotone, which is just a little square speaker that sits in the middle of the console. Or in your car,
the AirPods, you know what I'm saying, nowadays.
But if you got your mid-range covered, it's gonna sound good just about anywhere.
And I want to piggyback off that as well. So, because I think me and you had a discussion about that a couple of months ago, where a lot of artists, like producers, tracks and stuff that we would hear, it wouldn't have that strong thump that's on the top of the kicks and stuff. You know what I'm saying? From them not, mixing in the low range, in the mid-low area. You know what I'm saying? To push that kick, not necessarily meaning that it's going to overpower, you know what I'm saying, but just sitting right. And no matter what system that you hear it on, you know what I'm saying, you will always be able to define, you know what I'm saying, that kick, that low end, you know what I'm saying, to where if you're on the shitty system, it still sounds good. If you're in a high end system, it's great. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, you know what I'm saying, pay attention to that low. Pay attention to that mid range.
Yeah. I think that's why it's so important to understand frequencies, though. And I think that's where a lot of people get lost at. It's understanding frequencies, and that's why a lot of sounds get lost in a person's mix.
Yeah, and when you say that about frequency, also understanding how frequencies work against each other. You can have some things that they all sound great alone, but when you put it together, it might occupy too much of exactly.
Muddy on you. Space.
Always a rule of thumb for me is what I do is every instrument except the kicks and the bass, I filter everything out below 200 hertz because it's not needed. It just takes up energy in the mix.
Exactly. Right. And I'm gonna say something real quick from a DJ's perspective. All right. If there's any aspiring DJs out there in the metaverse in the world, the one thing that's very important, well, at least one thing that I found to be very important, is that when someone comes into a world and you're spinning, you want it to be the vibe to be pleasing, so that you want it loud enough so they can vibe to it, but low enough that you can actually have a conversation with somebody.
That's so key.
And talking about that mid range, what I do a lot of times is I will take some of the mid out of the EQ from my controller as I'm playing it, because that mid range is that vocal range, and so you can still have the music pumping, but the mid range is down in the music, so you can still hear the people talking a little bit. You can still have those conversations and shit.
Right.
I do that with the overall volume as far as for the conversations. I had parties where I was DJing where people come in and they say, "Yo, the music is banging, but I'm leaving because I can't talk."
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, we're gonna come to our last question, and that is, what tips do you have setting up a home studio for virtual environment?
Oh shoot, we could take the virtual environment on for that, because with any home studio, you know what I'm saying, you can still have a professional recording coming out of that, and to no matter what platform you're going to, if it's VR, you know what I'm saying, if you're about to take this to a mastering house, you know what I'm saying, it really doesn't matter. So I guess we would say is that tips for just setting up a good home studio and studio environment, period. If you're working with you know what I'm saying. Now, if you're working with a minimal, you know what I'm saying, minimal equipment, a lot of us, you know what I'm saying, we got different type of rack systems, outboard gear, all of that good little stuff. But if you're just an artist who is just trying to put together, a quality recording, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, whatever DAW you want to use, whether it's Logic, whether it's Pro Tools, whether it's Fruity Loops, whether it's sound, what's your Cubase? It doesn't matter. Yeah. You just want to make sure that you have a good good sound, good sound booth. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to capture your sound good. You want to have a good quality microphone.
Good
you know what I'm saying? You want to
quality.
have
That's important. Good quality mic.
Mic, preamps,
your
converters.
Definitely mic pre.
You know what I'm saying?
Your mic chain is your
all of that
most
stuff.
important thing if you're a
Right.
vocalist.
Now
If
you know
capture
what
shit, you're gonna get shit.
What I found is, Lou, I've seen some cats develop some nice digital mic chains over the years. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's whether they haven't even been using any outboard gear, and I'm talking about quality just as beautiful as hell. I mean, well, I'm gonna try to leave my
It's doable,
but yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's just. In looking up tips and tricks, you know what I'm saying? You got tons of producers that are up on this panel now that you can always come to because we have no problem dropping jewels, you know what I'm saying? And giving,
all day long.
You know what I'm saying? Tips and tricks.
Well, one thing I will say, having done a song in here with two people that were in two different geographic locations that I have never met in person, is there is something that you can do at home to kind of, and this depends if you want to do collaborations in here with people, like what Saxy, me and Nina did was we opened a Zoom session, right? So we're all, so it felt like we were in the same room instead of just sending, even though we were still sending the files back and forth through email. We would definitely email the files back and forth, but for the performance, for me to be able to produce the person and vocal coach and get it out, it's actually we're doing a Zoom session and I'm hearing it go down as the person's recording it. So that's one aspect that will help you in VR if you're looking to collaborate with people, to make it feel like you guys are in the room together and you're doing a session. Because in the real world, those guys they just send the files back together. They just send the files.
Or should you just mute it so
you muted yourself?
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. But they don't have the feeling of being together and kind of the vibe. Exactly.
Yeah, y'all could be all over the world, but looking at the same DAW on the screen, y'all could like point to, oh no, this track right here, like you could really be like you're in the same room with each other.
It speeds up the process too.
And you feed the actual audio stream that they're hearing, so it comes out higher quality. Not just.
And I'm gonna say that the Quest has some forgiving distortion. I don't know. It's kind of forgiving on music. So you could sometimes, if you're hearing it just in your Quest ears, you may think there's a pleasing distortion that's not there, but like I think So said, or somebody said they use earbuds, but also, being able to listen through it through your own DAW system and not just obviously, depend on in your headset.
Yep. And then one thing also you want to always have, you always want to know your budget, because that's one thing very important. I mean, even though we speaking of these dolls and all this up there, stay in your budget. You have different things in your budget. You have inbox. You can go to Apollo Twin. You can go to different things that you can do to be able to do it. Like half the people up here, have like you say, Luke probably got what, $100,000 worth of equipment at least, but some people have only 20,000. Some people only have 2,000 worth of equipment, but it still can work. And if you take that, then also never forget that you can take that what you do there and bring it to somebody else to make it better. So don't think that you're just stuck into your sound. You can actually upgrade your sound by if I take something from a smaller studio and take it to Luke can enhance it. So you don't ever just think that you can do it. So don't think that oh man, I ain't got enough money, I won't be able to do it. No, you can. All you gotta do is take $1,000. You can make you a whole studio. But at the same time, don't forget, you can always take that and take it to a next level.
Yeah. And kind of related a little bit to the equipment and investing. Like if you are an artist in the metaverse and you perform regularly, one thing that I would probably recommend is to invest in some streaming audio capability, so that you're able to actually stream your own audio and performance in when you're doing events. A lot of times you might have a DJ like, I can do it. Other folks will do it. The hosts will do it. But for you to have the ability to stream the audio in yourself, that just gives you more flexibility and especially a platform like Horizon, where there's, here too, where there's a big lag, a lot of time latency. If someone else is playing the music and you're performing, but if you're an artist and you can stream your own performance directly into the venue, now there's zero latency at all because all the music's coming from your machine streaming into the world.
Actually, the first person I saw doing that was somebody in the audience, Focus. He saw him do like a live performance from his crib. It actually changed my life. I was like, okay, wow.
Yeah, especially if you got that good quality coming out, it will translate very well into the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Sure will.
It does. It does. I've seen Angel the artist do it in Horizon, and that was the first time I've seen it. And it was definitely a different vibe, especially with her acting it out. So I want to thank you, gentlemen, so much for being a part of this panel. Mr. Block Party Radio and his team for putting this together.
Here we go. We have our new questions for panel number 9. Thank you all for sticking with us here. We are now talking about monetizing your music online. Before we get into the questions, Focus, I'd like you to just do a quick intro since you're popped in on this one.
What's up, everybody? My name is Focus. I am a MC, producer, engineer, and I am now working on a new platform that we have launching hopefully in July called the VR Nightlife. We also have a blog called Hip Hop in VR, and I'm very happy to be here. Shout out to you guys for putting this amazing thing together.
Thank you so much for coming in to join us on this final panel for today. So we're talking about monetizing your music online. And of course, everybody wants to come in here and show their talent and share it with everyone. But at the end of the day, it'd be nice to make a little bit of money with it too. So let's talk about how artists can launch crowdfunding campaigns within the metaverse. We've seen, concerts be put on here, mini desk, all types of things. So let's talk about how to do this. Let's start with you, Rupert. Let's give us your insight.
Yeah, sure. So for me, it's about return on investment, right? Because we have invested a lot into our development, into our experiences, and in the physical world, it can be really, really expensive. Here, not so much, right? Depending on the platform that you operate in, or what metaverse you want to build your business in. Prices may vary. I know for me, who operates from Horizon Worlds, we know that really it's just a matter of time. That is a cost that we put into this thing. But if you picture how you want your brand to be represented, no matter what you do, right? And it's not just necessarily for music. I know we're talking about music heavily now, but anything you do within that vein, because it's not always just about performing on stage. Right, we'll talk about, if I want to give an analogy, let's look at the gold rush and the people that actually made money during the gold rush. It wasn't necessarily just the people that struck and found gold. It was the people that sold the pickaxes, that provided places for them to eat and drink, put a roof over their head before they went out into the wilderness and started foraging for gold. So yeah, there's just many ways in which you can present yourself in here, and every one of those ways can be
Mm-hmm. Kip, I'm actually going to throw this to you because you've done quite a bit of stuff with the Patreons, maybe not in the music industry, but on other aspects of it. Do you feel that there is actually a place for musical artists to have a Patreon, and how would they capitalize on that?
Well, honestly, I've never looked into a Patreon as far as like music goes, but when you have a community that believes in you, you know what I'm saying, that believes in what you're doing, that like the music that you do, I don't see why it would not be a possibility that it could work. You know what I'm saying? Even if the Patreon is not even high, but at the same time, you're giving them access to not only your music, but merch. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe like how Afro does with like her T-shirts and her mugs and stuff. And so I would see I would think that could work. You know what I'm saying? Now, true enough, I've never looked into it myself, but I don't see why it couldn't.
Well, you bring up an interesting topic there about merchandise. So yes, of course, Yo Afro is selling hoodies and T-shirts and all these really cool things. The mugs that she has also. But we also have seen storefronts built in platforms like Spatial with Vin from Naughty by Nature has it set up.
That's true.
Second Life Rich worked with them, and they have a storefront set up where you can actually go in, click on a piece of merchandise, purchase it for your avatar and also for yourself in real life through a browser that, an external browser that takes you to the website. Focus, you've been around doing stuff in here for quite a while. What are your thoughts on having the virtual merchandise inside the metaverse?
I mean, Horizon has showed that that's something that definitely works, right? Where you can buy. I saw somebody yesterday with a Puma suit and Puma sneakers on. So that definitely, so that definitely works, right? So it really just boils down to people. Excuse my language, and I keep saying this, but just making people give a shit. That's all it really boils down to. It doesn't matter whether it's music, whether it's this, whether it's that. People just have to give a shit. If you are creative enough or generate enough interest, then if you build it, they will come, kind of a thing. So
I think
Well, City, if you don't mind, can I tag in for a second?
Yes, please go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is DJ Marcus J. That's my whole pitch. But in reference to crowdfunding and then also the merchandising, consider this. I know a few people in the metaverse who have concert series, right? Whether it's people who have put concert series in place for artists to come in, or they're their artists themselves. So I'm going to use an example as an artist himself. I'm going to use two, Bay Misses as well as Blue the Key. So for those who know, they've had their concert series where for a month, 2 months, whatever it is, they may hit different venues, like say every Friday night, every Saturday night, right? Now, a lot of these performances now, as far as I know, and I don't want to speak on anybody else's business and be incorrect, but are free. But let's decide that or as an example, say these concerts, there's a charge to them, right? It could be a situation where if you have a Patreon account, hey, anybody who hits level 2 in this Patreon account, you get automatic entry to any concerts that they do or something like that. Or, hey, if you attend X amount of concerts from going through this, you collect X amount of points, whatever the case may be. Now you get access to some of my merch, whatever the case may be. So it's just a situation. And I've heard a lot of this stated here tonight. A lot of the things that work outside of the headset, just bring them into the headset. You don't have to sit here and reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Right.
I would agree with that very much. I was just going to say that, Yo Afro and, a few other people, medically, even yourself, have created merchandise that they're selling outside of, VR and in VR. And, every once in a while, you win a contest, you get, you get a piece of merchandise thrown to you. Then I see people posting it on their social media and everyone's like, oh, that's so cool. I want one of those. And that kind of drums up a little bit of interest too. So getting the community involved, even, if you got to give away a free t-shirt and then you sell 3 more, there you go. It's like spreading awareness as well throughout the community. So let's talk about, how you can engage with artists. Like I just said, free merch is always a way, but how else can you engage with artists and artists engage with the fans through these virtual experiences to really excite them about what they're doing, not just their music, but like, hey, I got called out while they were in here. I'm on tier 2 of the Patreon, so I got special access. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I'll talk about it a little bit. So, we put on an event last year called Meta Square Garden. Just basically a recreation of Madison Square Garden. And in that event, we had some really recognizable names. MC Shan was one of our performers, Cool Hand from UMC. the experience that we provided, right? We was really one of the first, if not the first, ticketed event in Horizon Worlds, which was a platform. And so one thing I always try to do when I operate within this digital space is just understand that there is the only separation is the physical and the virtual. That's it, right? All the real world practices, and again, I'm a broken record, so I'm going to keep saying this. All the real world practice still exists. So when we bring artists in here that have a presence in the physical world, like we want to make sure that the experiences still remain the same. Right. And I've seen, unfortunately, a lot of times where artists who have a recognizable name are brought in by somebody, and the focus isn't necessarily in protecting the artist. It's really about having the clout to say, look who I brought in here. And they throw these artists out into the public. And it's a very uncomfortable feeling, right? A lot of times they're new to the headset. They haven't experienced it before. There is still this spatial awareness that you still have to recognize, even though we can't physically touch each other. Somebody being in your face is still somebody being in your face.
Mm-hmm.
So we recognize that offering an experience that's slightly different, where if we sold a ticket, which we did, we had a general admission ticket and we had a VIP ticket. That VIP ticket got you closer to the artist that was in the space. Now, again, whatever the artist wants to do, as in the physical world, if Chris Brown decides he wants to take a picture with somebody for $1,000 and make it public to everybody, that's what he's going to do. But then we also have, on the flip side, we have other artists that don't want to be around anybody, don't want to touch anybody, don't want to connect with their fans other than being on the stage and through the music. So for me, offering that separation and creating an experience that is special, not just for the artist, but also for the audience, right? Let's not forget the basic principle in which makes these things really engaging and special. Like, create that experience and give them a show, give them an opportunity to do something just a little bit different.
Focus, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm sorry. Can you say what was the question again one more time?
About engaging. What's a way that you can engage a little bit deeper with fans through these virtual experiences?
To be honest with you, just being in VR is engaging enough, in my opinion, right? I mean, I think if you're in here, I mean, I guess the real question is, how do we get people in here? That's really the real thing. Because once you're in here, you're engaged. My opinion. So I don't know.
That's true.
Well, I say consider this. For artists who have been in the industry for a while, right? You don't hear about them as much, but they still happen. But the in stores, for those who don't know, artists used to go in stores. I know Focus, I'm quite sure he's still doing this kind of stuff. But he touched down in a city, maybe in a different country, different state. He's at some event where there's actually fan engagement. They may come up, he's signing autographs, whatever the case may be, right? Just in a situation like that, as we keep talking about the differences from outside the headset, there's security you have to have, even though we do put security here in place in the metaverse. But an artist, if it's done right, can feel way more comfortable in here, engaging with fans in a close atmosphere than necessarily if you put that same artist in a room and have 20 people they've never met before within 20 feet from them. A lot of artists won't actually, they won't go for that. Let's just be honest. So there's a lot more engagement that we can do in here that you really just can't do outside the headset.
If it's done right, it's the optimal way. Done right.
Exactly.
If I may just interject, like he just made a very good point. And I would love to invite everybody here to come over to the platform that we're building. We have one of the things that we're launching first is the record shop and art gallery called Discover Music Zone. And that's exactly like the premise, right? So now an artist can come in, his new project is out. You can meet and greet with him. He can do an in-store performance. But more importantly, like even when the artist is not there, the store will kind of run itself. So every Friday we have New Music Fridays. Users can come in, point and sorry to do the shameless promotion, but I gotta take advantage of this. Point at the record, click, it pops, a UI opens up, you can skip records, hit the like button. So it's very interactive. And my whole thing that I've realized over the years with VR, because all this stuff is cool and make your own drink and all that stuff, but For me, it boils down to actual use case, because there's a lot of people that own the headsets, but they use it for a bit and then the novelty of it wears off and then it just sits there. So it's really about actual use case. When people have a real reason to put the headset on, then this thing is really going to explode and really start to develop more and more and more. But, everybody that's here right now, all of you guys, all of us here, all you guys are like the pioneers, really pushing this thing. And it's really cool to see, especially, Marcus and what you guys are doing. Like, just keep it going and just try to continue to figure out real valuable use cases for this technology. And then you're going to see how it starts to flourish. That was all, bro.
Agreed.
Hey, I definitely want to give MetaClean and Kip a chance to say something if they do, but I want to give you one other quick example. She's been up here multiple times today and yesterday. Shout out to Yo Afro. As a matter of fact, shout out to MetaClean Rupert as well. They have the mini desk, right? So I'm guessing some of you there, if not the majority of you, have been to the mini desk performances, right? That intimate type of setting, you don't get that a lot anymore. Let's just be honest. So that is a benefit that we actually get here in the metaverse that outside the headset, we're actually starting to miss.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that too, because I was, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that too, because I was going to say, just kind of bouncing on what Focus saying, when you go to a concert in the physical world, like you have no say-so about what happens at that concert oftentimes, right? If it's a really recognizable venue, like we had the opportunity to go see Yo Afro perform at SOBs, right? SOBs is in New York City, it's a very established place, but we have no control really over the look and the feel of SOBs, right? We were privileged to be, she was privileged to be invited to the stage there, but in the metaverse, like as you're out communicating with your fans, with your audience, start to pick up on a trend and hear things, you can now create a venue specific to what is trending. And you may only use it one time, right? But you put the narrative back into your control, but now it's not really making sure that the fans come to the venue. Venue can actually kind of come to the fans at the same time and create that experience that is just so much different. And we can present it in such a way that we can never really do in the physical world for the amount of money that we spend in VR.
That's a fact.
So one of the things that I wanted to point out, which kind of ties into that, is things that you can do in here that you cannot do in the, well, not that you can't, but you don't typically do in the real world, is all of the talent that we are able to actually spend quality time getting to know in here. The upcoming artists like Kawan, in here, and we're listening to them, grow and, develop and make all this music that they are doing in the real world at the same time. But in here, we can sit down and have a conversation with them. We can talk to these artists and we can actually listen to their backstory. I mean, you don't get to do that with celebrities out at regular concerts. If you're lucky, you pay hundreds of dollars to get a backstage pass to talk to them for 3 seconds while you get your picture taken and shuffled out the door. In here, you actually get to know these people. And I think that helps engage us a little bit deeper with them. And also, make us maybe respect them as an artist a little bit more. And then you have people like Tink and people's publicists and those who are like promoting people because they actually do feel that personal connection and engagement. And it helps the artist, but it also helps the community grow too. I mean, where else we get off here, we talk to our people and our friends and family, and we get to communicate with them and say, look who I was hanging out with last night. I was talking to Yo Afro. I was talking to Kawan. I was talking to, all these other artists that are in here, Vin from Naughty by Nature, and say that we actually hung out with them. We wouldn't get to do that if we were walking down the street. We'd walk right by them and be like, oh my God, look, you know who that is? In here, it's like, hey, how's it going? Great to see you today. Hope you're feeling better. I know you were under the weather yesterday. There's definitely a different form of engagement there that you don't have in the real world. And I think it adds value. But that kind of brings us down to our last question of the night. You know, so we've talked about concerts, we've talked about merchandise, we've talked about, you know, these little mini series and stuff where you might be able to raise a little bit of money. Are there any other new digital revenue streams that artists should explore? You know, is there any other way that maybe should they be doing private engagements? How else can they be making a little bit of money in here?
I'm gonna just say really quick. I think my opinion, I think that though we all want to make money, I think we need to start kind of looking at it as what we can give, right? What we can offer as musicians, as builders, as programmers, that in turn will create value. Because if everybody's just trying to sell, you know, we have to do this. I guess we're here because we love this, right? So if not, we pretty much wouldn't be here. So I think we kind of have to look at it from a different perspective, in my opinion, where what can we bring to the game? What can we offer up that has value that then makes people not in the headset? Because that's how we're going to start to make more money, right? When people come in, because the people that are here, we're the enthusiasts and we're the early adopters. So when more people come in, this is when the economy starts to really build and build. We need to give them a reason to come in, you know. And sometimes it's a bit distasteful when, you know, I poke around different places, and I think it's a bit distasteful when you have, you know, everybody's just money. It's cool, I get it, but at the same time, you know, why should I pay for this? You know, I don't need to pay for this. I can, you know, and that's really what it boils down to. That was just my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can agree with that, Focus Man, because it's like you really want to build with the community. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the community that takes care of you. You know what I'm saying? It's those people who they can hear your music anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But why should I listen to your music? Like, what are you giving me? You know what I'm saying? In return, are you engaging with this community? Are you putting on an event or something that I can come to for free? You know what I'm saying? I listen to all your music. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you know what? I don't mind going out, you know what I'm saying, and listening to that curated playlist that you're on, or putting you in one of my playlists and playing that shit in all of my devices and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that this artist engages the community. This is not just some person that I see that's just over there. Yeah, I'm an artist, and when you go up, they're like, yeah, man, they, you know, own their business or something. They're actually engaging with the community. One thing that I've noticed about, you know, when I came over to VR Chat and I started building and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Anytime somebody from my community would approach me and they needed something, or they have a question to ask me, yo, I drop everything. You know what I'm saying? To hear what they have to say, to be able to help them. If I can't help them right there, hey, let's get together at this day, this time. Let me help you with this. Are you sure? Or do you have any questions about this? You know what I'm saying? So you have to be the type of person, you know what I'm saying, that engages with your community, because at the end of the day, those are the people that you want to believe in you. You know what I'm saying? And so, because when you look at it, years from now, when this shit is up and running, bro, and when them pros step foot in here to regulate this shit, shit's gonna change. So right about now, you know what I'm saying? It needs to be at a point to where you as an artist needs to build with the community and build that sense of community. I wouldn't call it a following. I would say just build with the community. You know what I'm saying? Let them see you. Beat up for that shit. You know, Norkin yesterday on the panel, she said something that really resonated with me. She said that nowadays in the metaverse, you don't even need a venue. You could just pop up and say, hey, meet me at the corner of this street in the metaverse. Let's get this shit popping. You know what I'm saying? And they just I see that being done. They just engage with the people and stuff, man. Just giving them good music and a good vibe. You know, people love good music and they love a good vibe. You know, so as long as that you're giving that and you're dedicated to that, I think that you're gonna win. You know what I'm saying? You're not looking for it, but it's gonna come to you. You know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you know one more thing too, man. Nobody owes you nothing either. You know, just because you make music, just because you make music, and just because you think you hot, nobody owes you a thing. There's 1,000,005 artists and musicians, so sometimes it's a bit overwhelming. You know, so don't get mad if somebody doesn't, put the work in. Like you have to do the work and be consistent. You know, like Soul G, I heard you've been doing your series consistently, right? Like whether I've been to your event where it was packed and I've been there when there was 3 people, but the show goes on and nobody owes you a damn thing, man. Yesterday, somebody said something like, oh, why only the builders get paid more and why this? I mean, because they put work in. They sacrifice their time to learn this craft, to learn how to script. So of course they should be paid for it. There's an abundance of artists. So what are you as an artist? What are you going to do to stand out from those artists? What else can you bring to the table to add more value to yourself? And that it's put the work in, man. Put the work in. Period.
Look, I want to piggyback off of what he just said there. Consider this, and this is something that different panelists have said in different forms of fashion. We're in the metaverse here. Some of the same boundaries that exist outside the headset don't exist in here. If you're an artist, think of this. What are the things that you want to do that you can't do outside the headset? In my opinion, you make them happen in here, and then those are the extra stuff that you give to your fan base. That's the stuff that makes you different. Because that's the stuff that you've probably thought about for years. And, one day I wish I could do this. Man, I wish I could do it. Cosmic Kai, again, the concert that he did when he came out and was flying around in a flying saucer. Yes, I was enjoying it, but inside my head, I'm doing numbers like, I bet you to do this is probably going to cost this for that piece. It was probably going to cost this for that piece. Like, I mean, just the insurance component alone to do that.
Right.
So again, I say here, use your imagination. And I'm quite sure at some point your imagination will lead you to different streams. Oh, and one other key thing I want to say, and this is something I'm learning for myself. Just because you come up with an idea to do something in the metaverse, maybe the metaverse doesn't want that from you. I don't mean that in a negative way, because I've had to learn that for myself. There's certain things that I've undertaken in here. They may have been successful. They may not have been successful. But I could tell from the community, yeah, that didn't separate us from anybody else. They could go see 5,000 other people do that. Why do they want that from you?
Yep.
So for me, man, it's looking at it from a sales standpoint, the people that come around you when they need something or when they want you to buy something, because that's the only time they show up. Right. So it's the hard sell, and really nobody really likes to be hard sold to. But I learned from a mentor of mine, you have a choice. You can do the hard sell or the easy ask. And the only way you can really ask for something is if you provided enough value in order for somebody to see what the value is when you sell them something. Right. We're not going to necessarily, well, most of us don't necessarily buy things that we don't need or support things that we don't agree with. Right. We put our money and our time, our energy oftentimes into the things that offer value to us, whether that be a product, a service, or a feeling. And if you kind of stick to those types of things and make a valuable product, no matter what that product is, then the ask is easy. Ask. I approach this thing from trying to add an immense amount of value to anybody with no expectation in return. And hopefully that translates into when there's a product to be presented, that there'll be enough value built up in my services or the things that I've done or the people I surround myself to. Well, people don't even have to think twice about giving money or separating themselves. But it's not about the money, right? I think we all kind of alluded to the experiences in here. If you provide a good enough experience for somebody in here, then you will find supporters. And really, at the end of the day, that's all that really matters.
That's right. Agreed. Yeah.
So wrapping this up, we've hit some really key points here. It's about passion. It's about putting in the hard work. It's about engaging with the community and between the artists and the fans. And it's about consistency. These are all very key, valid points for all of you. I'm going to take a page out of Focus's book for a second here and do a little shameless plug. But, Focus, you mentioned about getting people here into the metaverse because that's where you're going to get your engagement from. Everybody stay tuned in July. We're actually going to do a special event with DJ Marcus and Second Life Rich from Hume AI and Lux VR and myself as a representative from Crypto City. And we're going to talk about marketing the metaverse and how to bring people from the outside in and different ways to bring talent in and help them, flourish here. So maybe somebody who's an artist, a musician, a singer, anything, and you want to bring them in. There are ways to do it to help, not overwhelm them and give them the right expectation on their way in. That this isn't a get rich quick scheme. This isn't jump in and make $1 million your first month in here and then jump back out. This is put in the hard work and develop and grow. And we are the pioneers, and there are many opportunities in here for everyone. So with that said, I'd like to thank all of you for being here tonight to watch this. Thank you to the panelists for sticking with us to the end. And we will see you again tomorrow night here in VR chat. If we can get all of the panel members and the Mr. Block Party radio team up on stage to say goodnight to everyone. So Tank, Topaz, Cybershay, Flashy, Blue Moon, Ty Sky, Loudfire, everyone, come on up to the stage.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Blue Moon, because Blue Moon is somebody who has always supported me and supported everybody doing stuff in VR, man. So shout out to Blue Moon.
Hey, let me piggyback off of that one real quick too. A lot of people don't know this. I met Blue Moon. I had a spot in my first club I had over in Allspace. And I was trying to run an event and was trying to figure out how to do stuff. Blue and Actually City both happened to come in that night. And Blue pretty much told me everything I did wrong. In a nice way. In a nice way.
Still do.
But she was giving me she was giving me advice on what I can do to make stuff better. So no, I'm exaggerating saying that though. But I learned more stuff from her to host an event in that one night than I probably learned from, 90% of the people who I've actually come in contact in reference to events. So, yeah, shout out to Blue. Yeah. Shout out to the whole team. They're super helpful.
Feedback learning. That's what we call that. Yes. Feedback learning.
It's a vibe. DJ Marcus J.